How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the looting that happened at a Family Dollar in Wilmington, North Carolina, after Hurricane Florence swept through the area. Now, I have video of this. I'll go ahead and play it right now without stopping and getting back to it. I can just play the video as I'm talking to kind of set it up. Now, you see, you had a Family Dollar right here. It's being looted, and it is right across the street from a housing project. I forget the name of the project, but I will put information about that in the description box below. People from the project are casually walking over, and I say casually because you had the hurricane that swept through. We're not talking about 20 feet of water on the ground standing. It looked like it was a little bit wet on the ground, and they were able to get from point A to point B pretty easily. The owner or owners of the particular establishment were in the area. They saw the looting. We'll get to that in a moment, but they were there, and they probably would have opened the next day because power had been turned on all throughout the city. It wasn't like you're going to have power not be on for weeks and weeks and weeks, but I digress. So they're in there, they're looting, they're taking stuff, stupid stuff. I mean, if there's no power on in that particular moment and it won't come up for like another day or so, why are you still in soda? I mean, some of the most crazy things you're taking from this place. Now, to get back to the owners, they said that they didn't want any charges to be pressed because, quite frankly, it'd probably be an insurance issue, and all the losses, they'll chop it up to that. But at the same time, the police may have a duty to intervene here. So eventually they did find some people that were doing this, and they probably are going to press charges against them. If you're going to try to file an insurance claim, you can't just say, oh, well, the stuff is stolen, I don't know where it is. You got to have a police report. You got to have evidence of the merchandise that was stolen, merchandise that was damaged by a flood, all those things. You got to have pictures. You got to submit the actual products. You got to have police reports. You can't just file an insurance claim with no evidence to back up your claim, because that'll just cause widespread fraud. But I digress. And the whole excuse of, well, Wilmington was cut off from the rest of North Carolina and the world because of the flooding that surrounded it. It became an island. Nobody could get in or get out. That excuse is bogus, because there was a church down the street 6 miles away from this looting situation that was handing out free supplies. Okay. And the power, like I said, was being restored to the particular area. It wasn't like a week or 2 week or month long event. So although they were cut off from the rest of the state and the mainland, it didn't matter. There are islands that are able to still operate. Let's get to the elephant in the room here, which is these stores that usually only operate in the ghetto. And the reason for that is because nobody else wants to go there. You know that there's not going to be a lot of money in these particular areas. These people, a lot of them don't work. They're on fixed incomes. Government assistance pretty much dominates. So you're not really going to be able to turn a good profit if you have anything beyond just super cheap Chinese stuff. B, you know, it's going to be a lot of theft, or as they call it, shrinkage. You're going to have a lot of people coming in there every day that come from the project right across the street and steal in many different ways. Maybe they'll do a smash and grab. Maybe they'll try to sneak it under their clothes or something like that. They'll try to, do different things to steal from you. And this is not just a black thing or a white thing. Unfortunately, in this case, as is the case in many low-income black areas, it was mostly black people doing the stealing. But this is not just relegated to them. Back in West Virginia, my hometown, they put one of these Family Dollars up, or Dollar General, or one of these really cheap stores. And I was hearing that the management was complaining about constant stealing every day. And you're in West Virginia, it's 95% white state. When you're in these poor and sometimes ghetto areas, you see stuff like this that happens. This is why nobody wants to invest. If you cannot respect an establishment that's coming to your community to try and serve you the lowest price goods they possibly can afford to sell in that particular area, why would they come? And then what happens is people of that area complain when they got to go miles and miles and miles. A lot of them don't have a car. They got to get on the bus. I've seen people on the bus with grocery bags. You understand? Rather than having to do all that, you can just walk, because many of them, that's what they do. That's what they were doing in the video. You can walk across the street from your project straight to the store and get what you need. Your basic toiletry items, basic little food stuffs. You don't have to go on a bus or walk a very long distance to get what you need. It's even better when they're open 24 hours a day, because you might have an infant or something and they may need something in the middle of the night. You can just walk right across the street and get what you need. Now, if you're living in a project, that might be kind of a dangerous walk, but that's better than having to drive a very far distance when you have no car, or to walk a very far distance with no car. And the bus is not going to run after a certain time of night. So this is why you cannot have investment in these areas. Now, I put that on Facebook and people got triggered. It's not just black people that do it, this and the third. Well, nobody really was able to say through all the triggering that I was seeing that I was wrong. What I'm saying is 100% correct. This same thing played out in Baltimore, Maryland. I believe it was a Target that got hit during the riots. And I remember when I was in Virginia, it was a guy, Don Roberts. He's from Baltimore, and he was is a news anchor in Virginia. He was talking about it on there, and he said that he remembered that community trying to get somebody, some company, something to invest in that very low income area. When you have a low income area like that with no businesses around, it makes it difficult for anybody to ever get out. I'm not saying it's impossible. Obviously, you could do different things that do not just involve that particular little block you live on. You can go to the library, get on the internet, but that's a different story. But for low skilled people, low educated people, they can walk right across the street, get a job at Target, and start the process of being able to get out of that situation to improve their lives and to improve the lives of their family, their children, and whatnot. But after all the lobbying to get the Target to come to the particular community, what happens? A year later, they destroy it. So after all the insurance claims, which is what the guys that the Family Dollar are trying to do, they're trying to say, oh, don't arrest them, we're going to top it up to insurance, which it will be covered by insurance mostly once they get the police report and whatnot. Even after their insurance claim goes through and everything is fine, why would anybody come back? Why would you rebuild in that particular area? I wouldn't. My insurance is going to go up. The same thing happened in Ferguson, Missouri. They destroyed Ferguson. A lot of these stores that are in low income areas, after their insurance is done, the insurance people know that this could happen again. You live in a low income area, people are stealing. When the next race riot happens, you're going to get hit again. So you're going to be a liability on us. So we're going to raise your rate. If it was me, I would move to a different part of town, a different city, and start over again, rather than risking having the same thing happen the next time a rain comes or the next time a race riot happens or something like that. And it's also the reason why a lot of us that come from these so-called underprivileged areas leave once we get some kind of success, even if it's just a moderate amount. Why would we stay in an area like that is so regressive? You're trying to go forward. People in the area are trying to bring you back. If you have money, now all of a sudden you're a target. Just like the Target shop, no pun intended, the Family Dollar, any little store that's in the area where people are at that are poor, with a poor mindset, because you don't have to be poor. Being poor is no excuse to go and loot a place. Okay? The place is there because you're poor. They have cheap items. Respect that place. Understand that they're there to try and serve you and to try to make some money, and you're able to benefit by having items that are close by, that are not totally outside of your way, that are convenient. Respect that place. When you don't, they're not going to come back after they get destroyed. And what are you going to do then? You're going to be in the worst situation. Was the soda pop and chips and dip, was all that worth not having this particular store here to serve the community? So what say you? Do you think that these people that destroyed or looted this Family Dollar were really thinking about the future? Did they care about the future? Were they just more concerned about, I want some chips, I want some soda, I want some, I don't know what the point, like, what are you really going to get out of a Family Dollar that's worth anything? That's worth potentially going to jail, that's worth potentially losing this store, that's worth losing that convenience? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I gotta say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.